Summer is now in full swing, and while we're all hoping to enjoy some sunshine, it's always nice to come inside and cool off with a shiny new Xbox game. And as luck would have it, there's a whole mess of them available in this week's sale.
A Plague Tale Requiem is one of the most anticipated games of 2022, and we're more psyched than ever now that we know it'll be coming to Xbox Game Pass right away on the 18th of October, which still gives you a few months to catch up on the story by checking out A Plague Tale Innocence. Now 75% off and also available on Game Pass, this gorgeously grim adventure has you guiding Amicia and her young brother through the French countryside. Which might sound like a nice relaxing summer holiday, but sadly, the year is 1348 and France is being ravaged by both the Black Plague and the 100 Years' War, which does ruin the vibe a little bit. Although the scenery still looks pretty stunning in 4K Ultra HD on the Xbox Series X. Playing as a teenager without much in the way of combat training, you're going to spend most of the game nervously sneaking around and hoping that nobody spots you, which will just make it all the more satisfying when Requiem drops to let you take a more direct approach.
With Far Cry 5 arriving on Xbox Game Pass on July 1st, gamers are about to get real familiar with the Montana region of Hope County and all the strange things going on there. And if you'd like an early glimpse of just how high the stakes are in the spin-off/sequel, New Dawn. You see, New Dawn takes place a number of years after one of Far Cry 5's possible endings. Let's just say it is not the happiest one. The planet has been ravaged by nuclear warfare, leaving the survivors to scrap it out for control of what remains. By crafting weapons, building alliances, and taking down bandits, you might just be able to build a brighter future for us all. But even if not, New Dawn provides a hugely entertaining post-apocalyptic spin on the 5th game's map, and adds a dark new chapter to its story. And now it's 75% off.
Another big summer addition to Xbox and PC Game Pass was the Egyptian adventure Assassin's Creed Origins, and wouldn't you know it, we've got the perfect deal to complement that one as well. For just a quarter of the regular price, you can get not one, not two, but 3 games worth of throat-stabbing fun thanks to the Assassin's Creed Triple Pack. If it's a pirate life for you, then Black Flag lets you become the scourge of the 7 seas, looting and plundering to your heart's desire. For the more sophisticated assassins out there, Unity takes us to 18th century Paris, where the people have had just about enough of the wealthy elites who exploit them. So for something a little closer to home, Syndicate takes us to the smoke-filled streets of Victorian London. Whichever one you choose, you'll find a whole bunch of worthy targets for your stealthy, stabby skill set.
If you're looking for a game that combines the epic scale and anime art style of a JRPG with the twitchy action and dazzling set pieces of an action game, then you should look no further than Scarlet Nexus. This meaty adventure combines 2 20-hour campaigns to tell a single story about what happens when Earth comes under attack from otherworldly mutants that fall from the sky. It turns out that humanity's best hope is a collection of superpowered teenagers, 2 of whom you'll get the chance to play as, while the others can be recruited to help you out. Since each of them has their own weapon of choice and their own psionic superpower, you can expect the battles to get truly spectacular once you start mixing all these abilities together. The whole thing looks incredible, especially in 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X and S. And the combination of deep storytelling and kinetic action makes Scarlet Nexus one of the coolest titles on Xbox Game Pass. But for everybody else, it's now 40% off.
Just this year, it was announced that over 44 million copies of Terraria have been sold, and while we're not here to encourage peer pressure, aren't you just a little bit curious to see what all the fuss is about? If you feel like finding out, you can do so this week for 60% off, or by picking up an Xbox Game Pass membership. In either case, you'll be greeted by a charming 2D sandbox in which the possibilities are almost endless. Build vast fortresses, go on epic adventures, craft all kinds of deadly weapons, and bring all sorts of colourful NPCs to come live alongside you. And for those of you who like the survivalist side of these crafty sandbox games, a recent update dropped a whole bunch of Don't Starve content into Terraria's pixely world, giving you a whole new way to experience the agony of starvation.
Trials Rising is the latest release in the beloved 2.5D motorbike series, and is now 70% off. From riding along the Great Wall of China to pulling off tricks inside a skate park, each of Trials Rising's tracks requires lightning-quick reactions to avoid plowing straight into one obstacle or another. The game just keeps on finding ways to up the ante, eventually having you race along a speeding train like some sort of unhinged Kill Bill tribute. And if these demented tracks don't satisfy your adrenaline junkie habits, you can delve into the creator mode to whip up some of your own. Fortunately, there is a helpful new tutorial to help you master the game's more advanced techniques. Although if you insist on trying to ride a motorcycle through such obviously unsafe places, there's a limit to how much the extra training can really help.
Given that it was already a beloved graphic novel series and a hit film, it only made sense that Scott Pilgrim vs. the World should bring its hyperactive style to the gaming world. And what better way than with an old school side-scrolling brawler. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, features the kind of blocky graphics and beat-boot-filled soundtrack that's sure to delight anyone old enough to feel nostalgic, while younger players still get an incredibly stylish button basher filled with fun pop culture references to enjoy. So everybody wins. And of course, it's important to have a good support system around you during this sort of relationship turmoil. So it's good that the game also allows up to 3 other players to jump in as the likes of Ramona and Knives Chow, all for 67% off.
And speaking of things that used to be other things, World War Z Aftermath brings the uber popular zombie book/film into the video game realm. And you can get in on the action this week for 40% less than usual. This co-op shooter lets you battle brain-hungry bad guys at iconic locations from around the globe. You even get to visit the Vatican. Although, in truth, it's seen better days. As well as providing ample opportunity for sightseeing, Aftermath gives players 8 different classes to choose from, each with their own distinct perks and abilities. By leveling up your chosen skills and combining them with those of your friends, you'll soon have the #1 zombie slaying team in town.
To finish up this week's sale, we've got a couple of double deals, starting with the Overcooked 1 and 2 bundle, which is now 75% off, while the second game is also on PC and Xbox Game Pass. If you've watched one too many episodes of Kitchen Nightmares and I reckon you could cut it in that kind of high-pressure environment, then the Overcooked games are the perfect way to put that to the test. Plus, it's a family-friendly game, so you won't have someone bellowing expletives if you fail. Good old Gordon. But that's not to say the challenge won't be tough. Both Overcooked games require tight coordination, good planning, and quick thinking to deal with the rapid onslaught of orders. Not to mention the unique foibles of each wacky kitchen. I don't know who decided the workplace should have a highway in the middle, but it's your problem now.
Lastly, we've got a couple of games where the dining options probably won't be quite so extensive. The Escapists 1 and 2. In these charmingly pixelated jailbreak simulations, your goal is simply to bust out the big house. But accomplishing that won't be so simple. It's a delicate balancing act. You'll need to follow the rules and listen to the guards if you want to keep them off your back, while also carving out time to start working on your escape plan. The only upside of being in prison is that you've got plenty of time, and it's up to you how you want to spend it. You can hit the workout zone and try to brute force your way out, get crafty and build yourself some tools, or strike up a conversation with your fellow inmates and see who might be able to help you. With so many possible permutations, the Escapist games are the kind you keep coming back to time and time again, and they're now a massive 80% off into the bargain.
These deals might seem like daylight robbery, but we promise they won't land you in jail unless you go for the Escapists, obviously. But let us know what your favorites are down in the comments and subscribe if you're new. We'll see you next time.